This is very weird.
This is very weird. Welcome to Sofa Sundays.
This is where you come every Sunday to listen to me and Harriet talk about no nonsense, just real facts, and yeah, let's start.
Let's go.
Oh,
So this week we're going to be talking about growing up with social media.
We thought we'd just bring it back to the roots, really. Start from the beginning, start from scratch, and kind of have a little chit chat about how I guess it's impacted us growing up. And yeah, should we get into it?
We should get into it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm 19 and I remember first getting Facebook. When I got it a bit late, I remember everyone had already got Facebook already. I got it when I was maybe 13, but I know all my friends downloaded it when they were probably 10 or 9.
Oh my God.
I remember being at primary school and everyone was like, have you got Facebook? And it was this thing that everyone had already. And it was just such a weird thing. I never wanted to do it because I was worried that I didn't want people to see me online. It's I remember because everyone had it, I thought I have to download this. It's sort of like a platform that I need to have to stay in contact with people and have friends online. So
I think because I'm 22 and I can remember the day, I think I was on holiday with my mum, and I think that was when she let me have my first Facebook page. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. I was like, finally, my time has come.
My time has come.
My time has come.
Yeah, I think it started off with that, and then I can remember being in secondary school and Snapchat came out, and I can remember thinking, oh, I'm never going to use that. That sounds that sounds awful. Why would you have an app like that? And then I got it, and then just obviously loved it, and it got so big, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then I got Instagram, but I think I've had such a love-hate relationship with social media. The older I've got, the more of an iffy relationship I've had with it. Especially Instagram. All the other social medias, I don't have a weird sort of obsession-y, I guess, relationship with it, but with Instagram I go off it, I go on it, I go off it, I go on it. I'm really I don't know how to have a proper just normal relationship with it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good platform for people to build businesses and stuff like that. It's I don't know. I've got a bit of a weird one with
I think the platform itself has changed though since it first came out. I remember again everyone had Instagram. I didn't get Instagram until I was probably 15, and I think again everyone had already had it, and I had this huge thing that I didn't want. I remember saying to people, I think it's pointless just posting photos of yourself just to get likes from people. Why can't you just, you know people like you, why do you need to post them? and then I remember downloading it, and you get sort of attached to it, and you're sort of I need this constant sort of approval from people, and this constant these constant likes to make me feel better about myself. You get addicted to it.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, when I was in secondary school and stuff like that, obviously it doesn't have that effect at all. When I went to college, I didn't really I had a normal relationship with all social medias and everything like that. I think for me, the point was when I started just modelling as a hobby. That's when it completely changed.
Yeah.
Because I would go to shoots and then I would gain loads of followers off loads of photographers and stuff like that. And then you'd gain that attention and attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And to see my followers go up, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because that had never happened to me before. And it's kind of like what you said, it's kind of that validation from people, but it's validation from people that you don't even know.
You don't even know them,
the weird thing. And it's why do I feel like I need that?
Exactly. I think again, like I was saying before, the platform itself has changed since we've first downloaded it. Before, it was just sort of where people would post photos of themselves with those crazy filters and stuff on. And then now it's where people start businesses, people promote themselves on it, they have their own companies on there. It's a whole different platform. So I think but social media has changed so much. YouTube changed. YouTube was just where people uploaded silly videos of their children, Charlie bit my finger or something like that. Remember that?
Oh my God, the good old days.
And then it became somewhere that it's where people work.
It is a strange one, isn't it? Because it's such an amazing platform.
Oh,
it's amazing that you can build your business and stuff like that off it. I don't know. I find it really hard sometimes to kind of see like a just normal relationship with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like past couple of years it's kind of changed completely, hasn't it?
Yeah. And I think people sort of use it as more of a place to get validation rather than just sharing their own sort of experiences, because to begin with it was to show people what you're doing just to keep in touch with people, whereas now it's like, validate me, tell me I'm great, like is this worth your time, like. And I think now it's more of sort of a am I good enough, whereas before it was look at what I'm doing sort of thing, you know.
I think Facebook's still kind of like that. Like, I don't really use Facebook as much, and the only time I use Facebook is to kind of to see what people are doing. So I'm kind of glad in that sense that Facebook has stayed that way. However, it is purely, I think, just Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, that's completely changed. I can remember I would just post pictures of myself, my friends, and you know, that was the norm. Whereas now, like, I got to a point, I literally, as of most recently, I had 4 accounts. 4 Instagram accounts. How ridiculous is that? Because I had one for work, so that was my casting account when I worked on TV shows and stuff, so that was, obviously I need that. My second one is my Temple Spa business account, so I need that. But then I had 2 other ones, so I had my private one, which I've now deleted because I was like, I am going to drive myself stir crazy. And then I have my one that is my main account that I kind of use for like modelling pictures and that sort of stuff. But it's kind of got to a point where it's like, why am I doing this to myself? Because this is what happened last year. I had all these different accounts and then it just drove me insane. So then I just deleted it, and I literally, my old profile had about 1,200 followers. I deleted it all. And then now I'm kicking myself. Actually. But then at the same time, I'm like, why am I kicking myself? Because I have many followers.
You did it for a reason though. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't have a healthy relationship at the time. It's so strange.
Like I've always had like one account, but I remember I made a private account last year, but I ended up deleting it after like 3 months because I just didn't see the point to it, because I had people on there that was like my close friends, but I ended up posting the same things that I just post on my main account anyway. And it got like, I was just like, I don't understand why I've got these 2 different accounts and like hiding my true self from these people. I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna post it all to my main account, and if people don't like it, they just unfollow me. Like, I don't care. Like,
it's their problem, isn't it? Yeah. Because the thing is, like, it's hard, isn't it? Because I think for our generation, and specifically for people growing up now, they're going to get it 10 times worse. Like, my niece is only 7, but she is going to hit it 10 times harder than we ever did. But then it's like my brothers, they're 5 years and 10 years older than me, and they don't really bother with it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think our age sort of bracket was the first sort of society to kind of hit it.
Oh yeah, we are like definitely the first sort of like, we were like the guinea pig sort of.
Weren't we? Yeah. To try it all.
Try it all, see if it fucks you up.
Yeah. Nowadays you're getting kids that are like 10, if not younger, that are getting Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and everything like that, and it's scary. It really scares me, actually.
Yeah, it does scare. Like, and I think it's also just like the whole thing is now just an invasion of privacy, and I think that also comes with like people. There's so much trust issues in our generation, like so many trust issues, and I think that's definitely built from social media. Like beforehand, you couldn't see what anyone was doing or where they were, or if they were lying to you about where they were. Now you can go on Snapchat, and if they've got the location, you can see exactly where they were, when they were last active, and it's like things like that is such an invasion of your own privacy. Like, you know, perhaps someone's not feeling great that day. They've logged on Snapchat, seen like 50 or so messages. They don't want to open them. They're just a bit like, I need to take a break. But all their friends can see when they're last active. And they're going to go, they're ignoring me. What are they doing? They were at Tesco's 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's so creepy that you can do that.
Yeah, it is. And nothing's private anymore. Nothing's private. To be honest, the whole thing does quite frustrate me.
Yeah.
Because I think I wish I was like my brother's ages where I didn't actually
have to deal with this.
Yeah. And actually get to a point in today's society and think, nah, can't be arsed. Do you know? Like, don't actually need it, don't really want it.
Yeah.
Because I think in today's society, we all feel like we need to show people what we're doing, and
I feel like
of that.
if you don't have it, you feel like you're missing out. I think people just feel like they're missing out on a certain lifestyle if they haven't got like social media platforms. And I think if you have never downloaded them in the first place, I remember like someone who I went to school with never had Facebook, never had Instagram, any of that. And they just didn't, like they still saw us all, but they never had it. So they never saw the need to have it because they never downloaded it. Whereas like people like me who finally caved and were like, I'm going to download it. You sort of get sucked into this like media world and you can't get out. It's sort of like you're addicted to it. You need to stay there because that's like your life. Like your life is in your phone.
I hate that that's what's happened, do you know? I think it's a shame that we can't just live our lives without feeling the need to share everything that we're doing, you know? But I do feel like the generation that we grew up in, it just was the thing, unfortunately. And, you know, no matter how much I hate it, it is what it is. It's what's happened. And I'm guilty of it. I do it. Do you know what I mean? We all do it. It's just a shame that that is now what happens.
Yeah, I really hate the sort of fact that we live our lives on the outside to sort of fill the life in the phone, you know what I mean? It's sort of like you go out and take pictures to put it on your Instagram, like, you know what I mean? It's not for your own life, it's for this virtual life that you're living. You've got to keep like updating this virtual life you have and be like, this is what I'm doing right now, like look at me doing this, I've got this Costa drink, look at it, this is what I've ordered, like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's always got, I've got a new car, look at my new car, I'm gonna post this. Like nothing's ever for yourself, it's for everyone else to look at.
Constantly just doing it for the gram, eh?
Doing it for the gram.
It's true, it is true. Because the thing is, because it's such a good business platform, you have to be, depending on what industry you want to get into, you have to be quite tactical with it, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, like obviously working in the TV industry and modelling and that sort of stuff, it is the sort of industries that are very, very based on phones and social media and all that sort of stuff. So for me, it is the sort of lifestyle that I am going to live.
Yes.
If that makes sense?
Yeah, you're going to need
to. But
to.
there's other people that do jobs where they don't need that and they will never need that. You know what I mean? So like for TV, you have to cast. That means you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on this, you're on that, to find people. So you've got to understand how it works, even for your job.
Well, like, especially with freelancing and stuff, like I remember at work, everyone was saying, as like in the film industry, like a lot of the jobs you find in freelancing are on Facebook, like you in Facebook chats and Facebook rooms and all of this stuff. It's all through like who you're friends with online as well as like obviously in person, but you keep in touch through Facebook, you keep in touch through Instagram, you keep in touch on those platforms. So like you really just can't escape it. You do need like a Facebook profile, really.
Would you say that it's quite a fake world on social media?
I think, yeah, to an extent, I think it's rather fake. I think obviously there's every sense of realism like everywhere, but people do exaggerate, people do like, you know, try and make their life seem a lot better than it is. People always try and put the best of their lives on social media. They don't put the worst parts of their lives on there. So everyone always sees this like false version or perfect version of everyone's lives. I'm not saying that like that isn't their life, but they're only putting the good parts in. So I think, you know, people assume that person's only living a very happy and perfect life when they're not, like, you know, and I think that's the thing that, you know, people get sort of caught up on. It's not that it's a false life. I think it's more that they're not putting the bad in, and people don't realise. I'm not saying people have to post the bad, but I'm saying people don't realise that there is always bad to every good that people have. Like, you know, it's not always, you know, rainbows and sunshine. So
no, definitely I agree. And it's a hard one, isn't it? Because Instagram, Facebook, everything is just a highlight reel, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's to show the best parts of everyone's lives, which is great. But at the same time, you constantly compare your life to other people's, even though their life isn't like that. Do you know what I mean?
Now you've got like you said, like 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds on these platforms, you know, none of them are having their phases where they're ugly. Like, they're just...
I am so annoyed about that.
Right?
And they're like, you need to experience this. Like,
You need
this
to
is
go
not
through the ugly
fair.
phase.
Yeah, to get to
Literally.
a better phase. Like, it's not fair.
There's like me in my like blazers and scarves, like the snazzy scarves and my arm warmers and my leg warmers and my heart sunglasses and all this stuff, doing these, and like they're out there taking selfies on Instagram with their like makeup all done nicely and their highlighter and all this stuff. I'm like, no, you need to wear bright pink lipstick, you need to do blue eyeshadow across your eyes.
It's not allowed.
Stop it.
It's so true.
It's
Honestly.
so frustrating. Like they're growing up so quickly because they're like forced into this like social media world where they see all these people and they're like, that's how I'm meant to look. And it's like, no, you're 8 years old.
No, exactly. And I see girls that are, say, for example, 16, and they look like my age. Do you know what I mean? The amount of girls that get into nightclubs that are not even legally allowed to be in there,
Yeah.
because they look so old and they get fake IDs. There you go, in you go.
Do your homework. Like, you know what I mean?
Go home.
Go.
Do your homework.
Go home.
It's like, I can remember growing up and thinking, I just constantly wanted to get to the next stage. So I was like, right, I want to be able to drive. Okay, right, I want to be able to legally drink. I want to be able to go out. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. And now I'm 22, I'm like, why did I want to do all of that so quickly?
Yes,
Like,
you want to rush your life
why?
so much, and you've missed all the
Yeah.
good bits that like you're supposed to sort of like. People always like your teenage years, the best years of your life, but like I just kept trying to rush to the next bit.
Yeah.
I just missed out all of that.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think for me, like with social media, I constantly see, you know, people that are in their late 20s, and even, to be fair, even friends that I know that are like my age and they've gone travelling and everything like that, is I think there's a constant pressure on us to constantly be doing things. And I think with this lockdown, none of us can do any of it. And it's actually quite nice because we've all been having to just stop and think, okay, right, let's just chill out a second, because everyone's always off travelling and going to big events and that sort of thing. And it really does put in perspective what's important. And I think for me, like you almost feel like you've wasted so many years wanting to do more than you have and can.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you see all these people living the life and going on holidays and that sort of stuff. You're like, right, okay, I need to, for example, save enough money in this amount of time and then I can go. Or, you know what I mean? It's just that constant pressure, constantly sitting on your shoulders thinking, right, I need to be the best, which is to some extent, you know, constantly striving for more and being passionate and being determined to kind of live your best life is great. However, if it's pressure by someone else, then it's not the same, is it?
No,
You've got
yeah.
to be able to want to do it for yourself and kind of for your own sanity. And yeah,
I think definitely like in today's society there's a lot of like comparison, and I think that's the problem. It's not that people are wanting to do it for themselves, even it's I want to do it because they're doing it and I need to do better than them, and I need to
So
like
true.
have my life needs to be as good as theirs. It's not for your own happiness, it's so that you can prove to other people that I can do that too. Look how great my life is. I can go on this holiday. It's like, okay, but did you want to like do all that, or you're just doing it to like, you know, flex on other people? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can't constantly compare yourself to other people, because then you're not going to live your life for yourself. You have to live it for yourself, not for other people.
exactly. And I feel like that's what we're doing so much of, living our lives to impress other people, really, isn't it? That's kind of what it comes down to. And it's so sad to think that that's how it is nowadays. But the thing is, what's your opinion? Do you think it's going to get better, or do you think it's going to get worse? Because I just personally feel like it's just going to progressively get worse.
I
more
agree
intense.
with you. I think there's a lot of people who think social media is like a good thing and it's just going to get better for people, but I think we're just going to get more and more brainwashed as a society, and we're going to get to the point where we already live through our phones. We're just going to stop living for like what are you going to do on your deathbed when you're lying there and you're going, what was my life? You're just going to be looking through your Snapchat memories, like, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that frustrates me, is Snapchat memories, because I go through and I forget I even did any of those things. I don't have the physical memory, I have the Snapchat memory. And it's like, it's so ironic, it's called memories, but you don't have any. Like, you literally cannot remember that happening. And you go on there and you're like, oh my God, like this happened this like 2 years ago. And you forget, like you don't process those things because you don't sit there and go, I need to remember this moment. You just go, I'm going to film it, and then I'll, come back 2 years later and see it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I think for me, like recently, I've been trying to just get better at it, and because beforehand I'd go anywhere and I would Snapchat it, like Instagram it all the time. You know what I mean? Whereas now, and I'd get someone to take a photo of me and that sort of stuff. Whereas now, I'm trying to think, I'm just going to live in the moment, like live in the moment and stop trying to get the perfect Instagram of it, because who am I doing that for?
Exactly, who are you taking those photos for? Because it's not for yourself, because you're there.
No one's going to care.
Exactly.
No one cares.
This is the thing I've always said to people, is that like, we all post to our social media platforms to show people what we're doing. But when we check through everyone else's social media platforms, we're not like, what are they doing today? We're just skipping through them. We don't care. Like, that whole like spam of stories when people go to concerts and stuff and people just film it all. But we just skip through it all. We don't need to see you at a concert. Like, I do the same thing. I film my concert and I'm like, why am I filming this? I know if I was watching someone else at a concert, I wouldn't watch it. Like, you're at the concert for yourself. You like that band, you like that singer. Just enjoy it. Like, be there at the concert, be present there. No one else needs to like experience that with you. Like, obviously people like to show what they're doing, which is fair enough. Take a photo there, be like, I'm at this concert. But you don't need to film every like minute of it, because then you forget like how it actually felt when you were there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's nice to look back on, but then at the same time you think, I totally forgot I even done that. Literally, isn't it? It's crazy. Absolutely.
You forget
madness.
like what you've actually done, and you go to your phone to check what you did then, and it's like, you should know. Like, you don't want to spend like £200-300 on a ticket and not even have a single memory of it unless you check your Snapchat for it. Like, it's just so like frustrating, I guess, that you can't even have like your own memories anymore. Like,
no, because they're all made up of just videos and pictures and just archived memories, isn't it? And it's not, I just think, I think going forward, the memories that I'll have will mean a lot more to me. And I think I'll be a lot more, and I hope my friends will be the same, just a lot more present in the moment. Because, I think people get very comfortable with how busy they are and that sort of stuff. So when you come and see someone, you don't really live in the moment as much. Whereas now, like, if I go out for meals with my friends and that sort of stuff, I'm gonna be like, right, phones away. We can take one photo to say that we're here if you want to, but then that's it. Phones away. Let's catch up properly. You know what I mean? And
when you go out for dinner with your friends, it's like, it's so frustrating because sometimes you'll be sitting there at the table and everyone's just on their phone, and it's like, we're here to like have time with each other, and you're all on your phone.
It's like, we might as well just be at home and then just FaceTime if you're gonna be like that.
Like, obviously I'm guilty for going on my phone like at the dinner table, but it's because everyone else is doing it. And I think that if everyone just sort of together decided, let's all put our phones down, like in the middle of the table. I remember one time, like, we played a game, like, and I think a lot of people do this, whoever's picks up their phone first pays the bill. Like, like, just put your phone in the middle of the table. Exactly, no one wants to pick their phone up then. I think, people just need to be more present, like, with each other. And I think that's the problem that social media sort of put on everyone, is that we constantly have to be taking pictures of it, showing it to other people, and it's like, the time you spend with people is so minimal. Like, life is short. You can't spend it constantly just on your phone. You're gonna have no memories, like, when you die.
Yeah, it's so weird to think, isn't it? I think it depends, like, what you want out of it as well. Like, what do you actually want to gain from being on social media? Like, do you want to build a business? Do you want to be known on social media? If you do, then obviously your relationship with social media is going to be completely different. However, if you don't really care, then that's great. Like, I envy the people that don't actually really care and don't care about having a following or anything on social media, whereas I'm very, you know, with modelling and with TV and all that sort of stuff, like, I'm very much used to being in that sort of industry and path, if that makes sense. And for me, I quite enjoy it. So for me, like, my relationship with it is going to be different because I kind of want to gain some sort of, I don't know what I want to gain, but something out of social media that is more kind of in more of the public eye in that sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you do want that, like, sort of validation, I guess. Like, I'm one of those people that will always seek validation from other people. I'm a very sort of, I'm a people pleaser, I am, and I will always be there like, is this good enough for you? And I think even without social media, it's just in my genes. People, like, people, you know, you're either a people pleaser or you do things for yourself. Like, and there's two different sorts of people, and I know I'm a people pleaser. I will always go out of my way to please other people, and I will always put other people first, and I'll always be like, I remember I used to change, I don't do this so much anymore, but I remember, like, especially around, like, different groups of people, I changed myself to fit in with that group of people. I'd sort of change my personality so that I fit in with those people because I wanted to be liked by those people. And I think, you know, people, that's sort of like a connection to social media, I guess, in a way that you sort of change yourself online to fit in with those people. You want to please the people that you have online. You want to be like everyone else is in that platform. Whereas, like, I was like that in groups. I'd go to, like, one group of friends at school and I'd be like one person. And then my friends out of school, I'd be a completely different person. And then at home, I'd be a completely different person. And it's just like my personality would consistently change. Like, I wouldn't even know who I was because I'd be like, which one of these is me? Like, which one am I?
Yeah, and I think which one am I today?
Yeah, which one am I today? So, and, you know, I think, online, people are people pleasers. They want to be the person that everyone wants to follow. So I think you do change yourself online and not show, like, the bad bits of yourself, so that people will like you and more people will validate you and, like, be like, yes, I like that, I'll double tap that. Like, you know what I mean?
And it's almost, it's sad to think, isn't it? Because it's like following the trends as well. Everyone knows from, like, one day to the next what's current and what's going to get the views, what's going to get the likes and everything. We're not stupid. We know exactly how to play it. So, unfortunately, it's kind of how the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
It is, but I think the thing that I will always and want to stick by is, as long as my close friends and my family know who I am, and as long as I stay true to myself in that sense, I feel like it's all good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, my life on Instagram is not my real life. Like,
No.
Of course it's not. You know, like, and I can remember a girl said to me once, she was like, I said that I was struggling for some reason or another, and she was like, why? Your life looks so perfect. And I was like, and that was probably when I was struggling the most, you know? But you go on my Instagram, there's nothing. Of course there's not going to be any. There's nothing of anyone's life, really. And the only time that you see people struggling is when there's stuff like Mental Health Awareness Week and all that sort of stuff, or if, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's such a shame that people aren't honest enough to just say it more how it is all the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think it's so important for us to have these sort of conversations, because no one really does. And I just want to be straight up and honest, like,
Exactly.
real talk, literally real talk. Like,
Real
I just
talk.
think it's so important to have these conversations, because not enough people are, really.
I think, you know, people do sort of just pretend. That's the thing that does sort of get to me, is that the amount of people who come out of their shell on, like, Mental Health Awareness Week or things like that, when things are brought up, like if there's like a celebrity suicide or if there's something like that, people start to come out and talk about, like, their stories and how they feel. And obviously that takes a lot of bravery to come out and talk about things like that. But I think if we just not necessarily normalize mental illness, 'cause it's not like a normal thing, but we just accept it and sort of, you know, try and help more people and let them know, people who are struggling, that it's okay to feel that way and that people aren't alone. I think, you know, if more people just sort of said, yes, I am struggling, my life is not perfect, you know, that's so good to hear, especially from someone who you see. like online and think their life is perfect. If they just say it's not, it's really not. Like, you know, you'll be sitting there posting a picture of yourself while you're sat there in bed like feeling like crap maybe, and just like, you know, spots all over your face and feeling disgusting, and people will just see that photo and go, God, they look like that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just sort of, if you come out to people and say, no, I don't look like that all the time, this is what I look like right now, or like, you know, I'm not feeling great today, I feel like shit. You're like, if people just have a bit more honesty and were less sort of, my life's perfect, I think that would be such a good way to like live online, I guess, and like have your sort of platform. And I think this is great, like you said, to just open up and say, yeah, I'm not fine all the time, I'm definitely not fine all the time, and I'm like I'm seen as like an entertainer, like everyone like looks at me like, oh, Harriet's so funny, like, you know, she's constantly happy and all this. I am definitely not constantly happy. No. I've gone through such a rough period, like, you know, but obviously people deal with that in different ways. I deal with that through humour, and I think that's like a front a lot of people put on. Everyone's always having struggles, and I think if people were just more open about that and accepting of that, then I think, yeah, social media would just be a bit of a better place for everyone. But yeah, at the moment it's definitely somewhere that people just compare themselves to other people and think, wish my life was like that. And it's like, everyone's life is, you know, different, and you can't like, you know, everyone has struggles, you can't always compare yourself to other people.
Yeah, I think it's true. And I think if people, like you said, not normalise mental health, but just be more just straight up and honest, really. Yeah, exactly. And more real about just things in general. And, you know, because I'll post a picture to Instagram and I will be sat in bed with my hair up in a bun with Sudocrem on my face because I've got spots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't look like this normally. Like, it's just not how it is, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I don't. But, you know, that's why I think I wanted to do this, because I wanted to keep it real. Like, just keep it real, no lies, just say it how it is. And I think, you know, when like we spoke and said, you know, we always say when we're struggling and that sort of stuff, and I think that's so good that, you know, we can both say that to each other, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it should be more common for people to just be able to talk openly and freely without feeling judged, you know, and just to get it off their chest.
And I think that's definitely something with like, especially our parents' generation, is that that's something they weren't encouraged to talk about. I think that's something that they were all very sort of private about, especially like, you know, their health, and mental health wasn't really something that was even looked at then. Like, that wasn't something that was even a thing. Like, well, it's obviously a thing, but people didn't sort of see it as a thing. They weren't like, oh, that person's mentally ill. They didn't treat it the same as like a broken leg or this, that and the other. But it is, you're broken, you know, your brain, that's broken, you know, and it needs fixing. Your brain is like so important. You can't just like let it die. Like, you have to like help it. And I think, you know, if you're brought up by that generation and that generation are telling you, you know, you need to, you know, not talk about that, that's something you hide away, you know, you see it in that way and you're like, okay, I won't talk about it. But, you know, I think us as a generation, I think we are definitely more accepting, and we've sort of learned, I think we'll definitely as a generation parent differently. And I'm not saying our parents parented badly, but I think that's the way they grew up. I think from the way we've grown up with this platform and with, you know, the knowledge we have, I think we will be completely different in the respect of, you know, accepting mental illness and sort of being more open about it and being more sort of just discussing it more, I guess.
I think social media, we just need to learn all individually just how to have a relationship with it. You know, especially myself, I need to know when to go off it, when to go on it, what to see, what not to see, who I'm following and everything like that. I think it's so important to kind of have that mental understanding yourself and control. Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't had it in the past, and now I'm trying to learn it and just understand it a bit more and understand what affects me, what doesn't, and all that sort of stuff, really. But I think if we all can just learn to be a bit more honest about our lives and what we're going through, and not shy away if we are struggling, you know, and
yeah, definitely
reach out to people. I think that's the main thing, because we're all human at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're in the public eye or if you're not. We're all human.
We're all human beings.
We've all got emotions, even if like you hide them away and that sort of stuff. We all have got them. We've all got issues, and you know, it's just trying to reach out if you need help. And most of the time, I do need someone to talk to and that sort of stuff. But I think, you know, living our lives how we do on social media at the moment,
it's not great.
Others. No, it doesn't help us and it doesn't help others. But yeah, I think it's not going to change, which is sad. Sad to think. It's really sad.
I definitely think our generation will, if there is going to be a change, it will be our generation who makes that change. I think it will be definitely through us. And I definitely think we'll see a shift, but it's in what direction, really. I think, you know, there's definitely going to be a shift at some point, but yeah, I guess we'll just have to see.
We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Well, we thought we'd just wrap that episode up. Thank you so much if you've tuned in. This is kind of the start of our new series, Sofa Sundays. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Also, make sure you follow our Instagrams as well. We'll be doing loads of polls and that sort of thing on what you'd like to see as well. So if you can let us know any sort of topics that you'd like us to cover, then that would be amazing.
Cool. Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.